Hey, gang, Wednesday, college basketball. We're talking tournament time. Michiganders, the Play Gun Lake Sportsbook app has you covered. The last two play-in games tonight, 6:40 p.m., Montana State, 3.5-point favorite against Grambling State. 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time, Colorado, 2.5-point favorite with Boise State. Download the Play Gun Lake Sportsbook app. Make all your futures bets right now on who you think's going to win it all. Here are the latest odds on the top 5 faves to win it all. A $25 wager on UConn, the returning champs, pays $100. 25 on Houston pays $143.75. 25 on Purdue pays $162.50. 25 on Arizona pays $350. 25 on North Carolina pays $400. It's the only sports betting app that I ever recommend. Live bet while you watch all the action. New users, join me now. Download the Play Gun Lake Sportsbook app and make a winning $10 sports bet. Get $125 in sportsbook bonus back. PlayGunLake.com. They've got the details. You've got to be 21 and in Michigan. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. You love to play, you play to win, you bet. Bet Play Gun Lake Sportsbook app on all your tournament games. Time now for some headlines from the Wednesday edition of the Smerconish.com newsletter. I don't know if the headline is justified by what was actually said, but let's deal with it. We have a number of UK headlines today, and this is the lead one. It was leading the Daily Mail when I did a read-in early this morning. Our source is GB News because they did the interview. The headline says, Donald Trump warns Prince Harry he could be kicked out of America in a stunning world-exclusive interview. It's not TC what I heard him say. He was being interviewed by Nigel Farage,
who totally pushed him and set him up for this. I mean, come on. It's the problem with that headline is it makes you think that Trump brought this up. Trump not only didn't bring it up, but he had no real opinion of it and was like, wait, well, you tell me what would happen. It's the most absurd thing headline I've ever seen. But
I totally agree. We heard it.
He did say it, but still, yeah.
Well, let's play it. It's about a minute long. So again, this is at Mar-a-Lago. This is a conservative politician, turned media personality in the UK. Here's the exchange.
She, I would say, although she wouldn't show it because she was strong and smart, but I would imagine they broke her heart. The things that they were saying were so bad and so horrible. And she was in her 90s and hearing this stuff. I think they broke her heart.
No, it was horrible.
I think they really hurt her very
But if he's lied on his visa form, doesn't the truth need to come out?
We'll have to.
Should he get special privileges that nobody else does?
No, and we'll have to see if they know something about the drugs, and if he lied, they'll have to take appropriate action.
Appropriate action?
Yeah.
Which might mean not staying in
I
America.
don't know. You'll have to tell me. You just have to tell me. You would have thought they would have known this a long time ago.
You would.
But I thought they were very disrespectful to the family.
So there you go. You would have thought they would have known this a long time ago. I don't know. You tell me.
Okay, it certainly doesn't justify a headline that he warns that Harry could be kicked out of America.
Right, exactly.
Perhaps Meghan would be kicked out of America, but Harry, I don't think runs any risk, even on a Trump watch, of having that fate.
And why?
Right.
Why is Meghan getting kicked out of America?
We haven't decided yet.
Oh my God.
The bill of charges is still being drafted as we speak.
Stop.
This is really a troublesome story. I hope that it doesn't materialize, but Kate Middleton is at the center of what's being reported as a huge security breach, as staff at the hospital that treated her for abdominal condition are accused of attempting to access her private medical records without permission. Bosses at the London clinic, where the Princess of Wales underwent planned abdominal surgery in January, have launched this investigation. At least one member of the staff, it is reported, attempted access to her notes. I think, as I said yesterday, and by the way, on this issue, Trump said all the right things in that aforementioned interview, that it's gone much too far, and the whole Kate thing has blown itself out of proportion. And I worry about her well-being. And I think it would be obviously disgraceful if somebody had tried to access her medical records, here in the United States, we've got laws for that. I'm sure they do in the UK as well, but the HIPAA laws would be kicking in if that were the instance. You have a comment, TC, on the security breach at Kate's Hospital?
No, I feel the same way that you and President Trump do. So there you go. How about that?
Cut that tape.
Like, that is just one of the worst things. And so unbelievably, that would be such a violation. I can't even imagine. And I hope that it was caught before it got anywhere. And then that's all we can hope for. So, but I can't imagine how violated she would feel if that was even suggested.
I think we knew this, but here comes UK story number 3. The Brits are good for news, are they not?
Boy, oh
I think we knew this, but now Getty is confirming, Getty Images. We rely on a lot of Getty Images for Smerconish.com, as a matter of fact. A photograph of the late Queen, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, was digitally enhanced at its source, according to Getty Images. The picture agency said that it added an editor's note to the image, which was shared by Kensington Palace April of 2023 on what would have been the late Queen's 97th birthday. The palace shared the picture, saying that it was taken by the Princess of Wales at Balmoral. In a statement, Getty said, Getty Images can confirm that in accordance with its editorial policy, it has placed an editor's note on a handout image stating that the image had been digitally enhanced at the source. Trump addressed this in his interview with Farage, saying, well, what about all the Hollywood stars? They all enhance their images. And I thought he's saying that because he enhances his own images. I think many of us do take advantage of the features on our smartphones and make ourselves and everybody else look better.
Are you kidding me? I mean, if this is the standard. And I also found it interesting that that Getty put a note. They didn't kill it. The AP killed it. Fascinating difference. Those two thoughts that I had. And the other thing is, think about all the filters that people put on Instagram. I mean, I think there are some people on Instagram who you never know what they really look like. Truly, you never know, because you can make perfect skin, you can line eyes, you can look 10 years younger like that. I just think this is all just crazy. Everybody relax.
How much of a where's the scale and where's the line? If my noggin gets powdered before I do a CNN appearance or my own program.
Great question.
Am I now, am I involved in the same type of shenanigans as those who would alter a photograph?
I think you're enhanced. You're just not digitally enhanced. So perhaps that's the difference.
Yes. Yesterday, 26,451 votes were cast. Do you agree with Senator Schumer that Prime Minister Netanyahu has lost his way? 78.67% say they agreed with Schumer. Yesterday, we played the Schumer audio. We played the response by Netanyahu. I told you, I took the advice of a friend of mine and said, make sure you listen to the entire Schumer speech. It was about 40 minutes long. Did he say what he said about Netanyahu as reported? He certainly did. But it was one of a litany of points that he made in terms of things that he, Senator Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader, the highest elected representative who happens to be Jewish, it was one part of a much more comprehensive speech. I think that's what I'm trying to say. And interesting that the callers were like 80-20.
Yeah.
Pardon me. The voters were 80-20, but the callers on this subject were not. I always find that to be of interest. And as I've been referencing, Oprah Winfrey on King Charles tonight, meeting with her friend Gayle King and with Sir Charles Barkley, our friend, on CNN in follow-up to the ABC special from the other night. Poll question that I'm asking today: do you agree with Oprah that obesity is a disease and not a character flaw? Make sure you're voting on today's poll question of the day. I thought it was going to be 90-10. I thought it was going to be 99-1. I was wrong, but the voting, of course, is not concluded until you have cast your ballot. Rob Rogers draws for us every Wednesday editorial cartoon content, and we spend time talking about Mike Pence. That which is depicted in the editorial cartoon in today's issue of the newsletter pertains to Pence and saying that he can't endorse Donald Trump and getting into his rationale. I found it interesting that, Pence just can't bring himself to say that Trump is unfit. And he's unfit for not the least of which reason is the position that he put Pence in on January 6th. But instead, Pence says, well, the Trump is backing away from the conservative principles on which the two of them governed. And he points to the TikTok flip and debt and a whole host of other things that I'm just not buying. but that's the argument that he makes. More headlines now from the Wednesday edition of the Smerconish.com daily newsletter. Ever since I had the squatter vigilante here on POTUS, Flash Shelton, and on CNN with me, I'm taking note of all the stories out there. It's like the shark attack. When it gets in your head, like you don't let any of them pass you by. But this is a pretty incredible story. 2 vigilantes have now shown up to evict 3 brazen squatters living at a New York City home after its owner was arrested after she tried to remove them. Adele Andoloro inherited her family's home located in Flushing, Queens. She was left aghast when squatters moved into her childhood home last month. She confronted the squatters herself, was subsequently arrested when one of the men inside called the police on her for changing the locks. The furious homeowner who had been in the process of selling the home said, "I'm really fearful that these people are going to get away with stealing my home." My question is, how many of these instances are out there? Is it now just that we're glomming on? What was it, TC? Was it the Dominican Republic where tourists were dying?
Yes, from the
and
mini
you
bar.
Thought like, oh
the
no,
mini bar.
The mini bar, which it wasn't.
I wanted you to go drink from a Dominican mini bar while standing in shark-infested waters, but you refused to.
I think it was a scheduling matter because I
wanted
remember
to broadcast from there.
I remember looking at flights and hotel accommodations and being blown away by how inexpensive they were because everybody else was suddenly fearful of I still don't know how prevalent a problem squatters are. These are not bad tenants. These are not people who have a lease and they stay too long. These are people who just show up and occupy your space. It happens, but how often it happens, I still don't know.
We're going to figure it out because you know what? We're going to keep our eye on it because there seem to be a lot of articles about it right now, but it blows my mind. I do not understand these laws.
Vox has a good explainer on schools and the modes that they use to take control of technology, meaning kids' phones. And I almost made this a poll question, but I thought, who could disagree? Should schools lock up student phones? Wouldn't we all say, yes, they should?
No. The answer is no. The reason I know this is because I have a very good friend of mine whose daughter is a freshman in one of the private schools in our area. You know it well. I'll tell you later. And they sent out a thing saying that they were going to do this, that they were going to take the phones away, and it caused a huge issue with some of the parents saying, what if their kid needed them during the day, if they forgot like their homework or their lunch, or they needed to change the pickup schedule, or what if there was an emergency? So absolutely not universal, caused a huge ruckus.
Okay, well, then I may make it a poll question.
Yeah.
Not today or tomorrow, but I'm going to put that on the list. Here's the story. In Akron, Ohio, teens and tweens show up to school every day with their homework, their textbooks, and a special magnetic pouch that renders their smartphones useless during the day. The Akron schools are part of a growing movement across the U.S. and Europe to ban phones in schools or require them to be locked up in pouches made by a startup named Yonder. School districts in at least 41 states have bought the pouches in recent years, a response to behavior issues as well as concerns about students' mental health and learning, which have ramped up since the pandemic. By the way, TC, I've used one of those pouches because if I'm not mistaken, that is the same brand on the pouch which when I went to see Bill Burr in Atlantic City last summer.
Yes.
And you walked in and they seized, and I totally get it. He didn't want his material, being out on the internet while he's on tour because it's proprietary and he doesn't want to ruin it for the people who are at the next couple of stops. But I'd never had that experience of going to a live event of that magnitude, thousands of people surrendering your phone, they lock it up, and then actually you maintain possession of it, but they've got to unlock it at the end of the show.
Well, did you feel weird not being able to look down at your phone?
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
Well,
and you shouldn't.
Okay. I felt weird, but that's not a justification. But that's not a justification for doing it.
I agree. I totally agree with you. And I mean, I think back also somehow we managed to make it through elementary, middle, high school without having our phones. I don't know how we did it. I don't know how we managed. Somehow we did. It's kind of interesting.
Another headline from the Wednesday edition of the Smerconish.com daily newsletter. I think I put this related to the whole Mingle Project category of personal interaction and common experience. I've talked about self-checkout in the past. how Walmart self-checkout may be changing soon. Dateline St. Louis. The next time you're shopping at Walmart, some self-checkout lanes may only be available to subscription members or delivery service drivers. This decision is intended to better manage checkout availability, says a senior manager of communications at Walmart to USA Today. Some customers have reported the changes taking effect in their stores and being left to wait in line for cashiers. A Reddit user posted a photo of a sign blocking the self-checking that states, "Attention, this self-checkout is for Spark shoppers and Walmart Scan and Go only. Walmart Scan and Go is exclusive to those who are Walmart Plus members, which is the company's paid membership. Customers scan their items as they go through the store and pay at the self-checkout. Spark Driver is the delivery service provided through Walmart." By the way, just in a retail shopping story, can I tell you of a dopey kind of thing from which I draw great significance?
Yes.
Okay. I needed to get a clothing rack.
Okay.
A clothing rack. So I wanted something that was on wheels or
Sure.
casters. And would have a framework so that I could hang shirts or jackets on it, and I didn't want it too large.
Very
okay?
familiar, yes.
So went to Amazon, purchased one. It was $26. It was there the following day. It required assembly. I'm not so good at those sort of things, but even I was able to do it because it included a screwdriver-like device, and I probably had 15 different screws. And voila, there it was. I'm using it. Is the quality of it terrific? No. Is it doable and will it serve the purpose? Because I'm not displaying this. I just need it for like in an attic area. It's fine. And I said to myself, $26. It was there the next day. How could any other vendor? I'm sure it was made in China. I didn't look. I didn't look when I bought it, and I didn't look when I built it. I'm sure that it was, but how do you compete with that?
How do you compete with that? How do you compete with that? There's just no way. I do the same thing. Anything I need, it's just bada bing. And you cannot imagine the number of Amazon boxes that come into my apartment. You just cannot even begin to know. It's incredible.
I just thought if you're and look, I mean, a Main Street merchant is not going to sell clothing racks, okay? But I could fill in the blank with 100 other products where they would compete. I just don't know. And as you look at retail space across the country, I enjoy tracking the real estate market and occupancy rates for commercial buildings and what's going on residentially. I just always have. I think it's a very good barometer of what's going on generally. And I've got people in my family who are in the real estate business full time, my wife, my mother, my brother. I don't know how those spaces ever get filled. The combination of people not going back to work and therefore people not being in a position to patronize commercial spaces adjacent to office environments and Main Street USA, when you can go and get a clothing rack delivered one day later for $26. Why am I getting in my car? I don't even know where I'd go to get that product.
No.
So that's what brings it to mind.
Well, the Bed Bath & Beyonds are all closed. I mean, that's where you would go. Or maybe a Home Depot. I don't know.
Yeah, too many Yankee candles in Bed Bath & Beyond. I found it all overwhelming.
Oh, there you go. Yes, you were overwhelmed by the scent.
Two stories from Hollywood, one serious, one less so. Read the serious story from the Hollywood Reporter. Jonathan Glazer's open letter, now drawing more than 500 additional signatures overnight. This relating to a speech that he delivered for the 2024 Oscars. He won Best International Film for The Zone of Interest. People condemn the speech that he delivered that night. I'm not going to get into the subject matter only because I have a time constraint, but it's a worthy story. The happier story from Hollywood is that Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger, who we saw together at the Oscars, are reuniting for a non-twins film. But just seeing the two of them together brings a smile to my face.
Same.
Like whatever they're creating, I want to watch.
Yes, couldn't agree more. They're the best.
Ladies and gentlemen, please go vote on Smerconish.com about the Oprah obesity question. Thank you so much for listening to POTUS. Thank you so much for watching the headlines on YouTube. Those of you who do each and every day, others should join your ranks. Tomorrow will be TC After Dark when it is a Thursday. We appreciate you being here. Thanks.